Next MCQ, question number 24. It is related with the theory of dipole. The electric dipole is situated in an electric field of uniform intensity E, whose dipole moment is P and moment of inertia is I. If the dipole is displaced slightly from the equilibrium position, then the angular frequency of its oscillation is given by. तर एसएचएमचे दोन टाइप्स असतात ऑसिलेटर मोशनचे, लिनियर एसएचएम आणि अँग्युलर एसएचएम. सो in one problem we have used the formula for angular frequency in question number 17. So for linear SHM, it means that it is oscillated motion along the straight line. LINE means straight line. In linear SHM, omega square is equal to K by M. K is equal to force constant. M is equal to mass of oscillating body. Our problem is for angular SHM. For angular SHM of electric dipole in uniform electric field E, omega square is equal to C by I. Equation 1. Where I is equal to moment of inertia of a dipole, and C is a torque constant. This is a force constant, force per unit displacement. This is a torque constant. For magnetic dipole oscillating in uniform magnetic field B, C is equal to M into B, where M is equal to magnetic dipole moment of dipole. Similarly, C is equal to P into E, equation second, where P is equal to electric dipole moment, E is equal to electric field, and omega is equal to angular frequency is equal to 2 pi n. N is the frequency of oscillation. Therefore, put 2 in 1. Therefore, omega square is equal to P into E upon I, and therefore omega is equal to P electric dipole moment, electric field, moment of inertia, bracket raised to 1 half, bracket raised to 1 half. So correct choice is E. Therefore A is correct. So A choice is correct. Next, 25. The electric field due to an electric dipole at distance r from its center in axial position is E. If the dipole is rotated through an angle of 90 degree about its perpendicular axis, the electric field at the same point will be. So, we know the equations for magnetic field. So, if the magnetic dipole is like this, south pole, north pole, this is the center O, this is the point P on the axis. So these distances are. So magnetic field B at axial point is equal to 2 times mu 0 m upon 4 pi r cube, and this is the equatorial point Q. So B equator is equal to, there is no 2, mu 0 m upon 4 pi r cube. For electric dipole, E axial is equal to 2 times P, mu 0 is replaced by epsilon naught 4 pi epsilon naught r cube. This is equation 1. This is the value of the axial electric field. That is, when dipole is rotated, through 90 degree, then axial point becomes equatorial point. Where E equator is equal to P upon 4 pi epsilon naught r cube. This is the question second. आपण dipole अगोदर असा ठेवलेला होता. So this P point is on the axis. Now dipole is rotated through 90 degree. So now P point will become the equatorial point, like this. And therefore, we have to find the relation between these two. So 2 by 1 gives E equator upon E axis is equal to P upon 4 pi epsilon naught r cube divided by 2 times P upon 4 pi epsilon naught r cube. So this is equal to 1 half. So E equator is equal to E axis by 2, that is equal to E by 2. So this is the answer. So electric field will become half. Therefore, the correct choice is C. Therefore, C choice is correct. Next, question number 26. The electrical intensity E due to an electric dipole of moment P at a point on its equatorial line is parallel to the axis of the dipole and opposite to the direction of the dipole moment P, perpendicular to the axis of the dipole and directed away from it, parallel to the dipole moment and perpendicular to the axis of the dipole and is directed towards it. तर परपेंडिक्युलरचे दोघे चॉईस रॉंग आहे. पॅरललचे दोन चॉईस दिलेले आपल्याला, त्याच्यात एकात डायरेक्शन दिलेलं आहे, एकात मग फक्त पॅरलल टू डायपोल म्हटलेलं आहे. सो वी हॅव डिराइव्ड दिस इक्वेशन फॉर मॅग्नेटिक डायपोल अँड फॉर इलेक्ट्रिक डायपोल. द theory is same. Here we have drawn the figure for magnetic dipole. Now I will draw the figure for electric dipole. So this is minus q, this is plus q, this is the axis, this is the center pole, this is equatorial line. So this P is the axial point, Q is the equatorial point. So electric dipole moment is in this direction. So at point Q, the electric field is in this direction. So it is parallel to the axis. This is axis. This is equator. So the correct result is this. At equatorial point, Q, electric field vector E is equal to vector P upon 4 pi epsilon naught r cube with minus sign. Minus sign shows that E is parallel to axis of dipole and opposite to direction of dipole moment P. Dipole moment vector P, and therefore the correct choice is E. It is parallel to the axis of the dipole and opposite to the direction of dipole moment. Therefore, E is correct. E is correct. This is E equator. Now, if we consider E axis, we already know formula. E axis is equal to 2 times P upon 4 pi epsilon naught r cube. But here there is a plus sign, minus sign, plus sign. So this electric field at the axial point is in the direction. It is in the direction of the dipole moment. Like this. तर ही पण केस विचारली जाऊ शकते. आपला रिझल्ट हाय. Next, 28. 27 we will see afterwards. Because 28 is again related with this theory of dipole. I will read 28. The electric field at a point due to an electric dipole on the axis inclined at an angle theta less than 90 degree to the dipole axis is perpendicular to the dipole axis if theta is equal to tan inverse, tan inverse, tan inverse, tan inverse. So all the values are given in tan inverse. So actually this is the any point case of the dipole. So I will show the figure. So consider an electric dipole as usual. So this is minus Q charge. This is plus Q charge. This is the dipole. This is the center O. This is the dipole axis. So consider the point P here. So this is the O. This is the line joining point P. So this angle is theta. Now at point P, the direction of the electric dipole moment is not along the axis, not parallel opposite to the dipole moment. So it is like this, it is like this, it depends upon the value of theta. So in our case, if we draw perpendicular, then the electric field intensity at point P is like this. It makes an angle 90 degrees. So if we extend this OP line, then this angle is denoted by alpha. So alpha and theta, they are related like this. Theta is equal to angle made by the line OP. This P point has coordinate r theta. Theta is equal to angle made by line OP with direction of electric dipole moment vector P. आपल्याला P इथे दाखवावं लागेल. So P is in this direction. Alpha is equal to angle made by electric field intensity with line OP. Now, if we consider this triangle, then if this is alpha, then this is also alpha because they are vertically opposite angle. So alpha plus theta is equal to this total angle. The exterior angle of a triangle is equal to sum of the two interior angles. So this is alpha plus theta, and it is 90 degrees. So this angle is alpha plus theta. So O, this is point O, this is point P, and this is point say R. So in triangle OPR, in triangle OPR, this point is say Q. Angle PRQ is equal to alpha plus theta is equal to 90 degrees. So E is perpendicular to axis of the dipole. Therefore, alpha plus theta is equal to 90 degrees, like this. So these alpha and theta, they are related by where? This is equation 1, where alpha and theta are related by tan of alpha is equal to 1/2 tan of theta. तर हे रिलेशन आपण मॅग्नेटिक फील्डसाठी प्रूव्ह केलेलं आहे ते आपण इथे डायरेक्ट यूज करतोय. चला सर. सो दिस इज इक्वेशन सेकंड. वी टू फाइंड थीटा. सो फ्रॉम equation 1, alpha is equal to 90 minus theta. Therefore, tan of 90 minus theta is equal to 1/2 tan theta. Here now we have to use the trigonometry. Tan of 90 minus theta is always equal to cot of theta. So this property is given in our logbook. But tan of 90 minus theta is equal to cot theta. Therefore, cot of theta is equal to 1/2 tan theta. Cot theta is equal to reciprocal of tan theta. So 1/tan theta is equal to 1/2 tan theta. Therefore, 2 is equal to tan square theta. Therefore, root of 2 is equal to tan of theta. Therefore, theta is equal to tan inverse root 2. Tan inverse root 2. And therefore, the correct choice is the B. B is correct. B is correct. So, this equation we have used directly, but we have proved for magnetic field. मॅग्नेटिक डायपोलसाठी हा फॉर्म्युला आपण डिराईव्ह केलेला आहे एनी पॉईंटच्या केसमध्ये. सो फॉर एनी पॉईंट वी नो दिस रिलेशन. tan of alpha is equal to 1/2 tan of theta. Theta is the angle made by line OP and alpha is the angle made by electric field or magnetic field with line OP. So this plus this is equal to total angle made by electric or magnetic field with the dipole axis, like this. So remember this formula. Tan of alpha is equal to 1/2 tan of theta. Next, 27. Again, it is related with the surface charge density. तर लिनियर चार्ज डेन्सिटी, सरफेस चार्ज डेन्सिटी आणि व्हॉल्यूम चार्ज डेन्सिटीवर बरेच मराठीचे प्रॉब्लेम पण या पेपरमध्ये पाहिले. कॅल्क्युलेशन त्याचे कसे करतात ते पण आपल्याला माहिती झालं पाहिजे. सो वी हॅव मेड द स्टार. 27. 3 concentric metallic spherical shell of radii R, 2R, 3R given charges Q1, Q2, Q3 respectively. It is found that the surface charge densities on the outer surface of the shells are equal. Then the ratio of their charges given to the shells Q1, Q2, Q1 as to Q2 as to Q3 is given by 1 as to 2 as to 3, 1 as to 3 as to 5, 1 as to 4 as to 9 and 1 as to 8 as to 16. So we are using 3 concentric shells and the charges are given. Three concentric metallic spherical shell of radii R, 2R and 3R are given the charges Q1, Q2, Q3 respectively, like this. So I will show the figure. Figure is important. I will draw the figure here. So this charge is Q1. This radius is R1. Now the second spherical shell is here. This charge is Q2. This radius is R2. And the third concentric shell is like this. This is the third spherical shell whose radius is R3. The charge is Q3 like this. So given R1 is equal to R, R2 is equal to 2R, R3 is equal to 3R, Q1 as to Q2 as to Q3 is equal to question mark. One more quantity is given. Sigma 1 is equal to sigma 2 is equal to sigma 3 is equal to sigma is equal to surface charge density on each shell if R is equal to radius of a spherical shell, then surface area A is equal to 4 pi R square and sigma is equal to Q by A is equal to Q upon 4 pi R square. Therefore, Q is equal to charge on shell. So Q is equal to sigma multiplied by 4 pi R square. This is equation E. Therefore, using E, Q1 is equal to charge on shell 1. So Q1 is equal to sigma 1 multiplied by 4 pi R1 square is equal to value substitute कर रहा हूँ. Q1 is equal to sigma 1 is equal to sigma multiplied by 4 pi R1 is equal to R. So this is the equation 1. Q1 की वैल्यू कर रहा हूँ. Now where to find Q2, charge given to the sphere. Now one more point is important here. If this is the charge Q1, by induction minus Q1 charge is present here. So this total charge given to the sphere is equal to charge present minus this. So Q2 is equal to, this is the second calculation. Q2 is equal to net charge given to shell 2 and therefore Q2 is equal to charge on outer surface minus charge plus charge induced on inner surface, and therefore this is equal to sigma multiplied by 4 pi sigma 2 multiplied by 4 pi r2 square plus minus q1. So this is equal to sigma multiplied by 4 pi 2 r square minus q1. So this is 2 into 2 4, 4 into 4 16. So 16 pi sigma r square minus q1 is equal to this 4 pi sigma r square. So the net charge q2 is equal to 12 pi sigma r square. This is equation second. आता थर्ड स्पियर साठी सुद्धा तसंच करावं लागेल आपल्याला. Q2 इथे दिल्यानंतर इंडक्शनमुळे मायनस Q2 चार्ज प्रोड्यूस होतो. सो मायनस Q2 चार्ज इज इंड्यूस ऑन इनर सरफेस. सो Q3 is equal to, so this is the first calculation, this is the second calculation, this is the third calculation. Q3 is equal to net charge given to shell number 3. Therefore, Q3 is equal to charge on outer surface of shell 3 minus charge induced on inner surface and therefore Q3 is equal to sigma 3 4 pi r3 square minus Q2 minus Q2. So this is equal to sigma multiplied by 4 pi 3r square minus Q2 is equal to, this is also minus Q1. So Q2 is equal to this 12 pi sigma r square plus 4 pi sigma r square. So this is equal to 3 into 3 9 multiplied by 4. So 36 pi sigma r square minus 16 pi sigma r square. This is the total charge induced. So this Q1 charge is given, therefore minus Q1 charge is induced. Q2 charge is given, therefore minus Q2 charge is induced, like this one. So why we have added these two? This is the total charge induced. So this is equal to 20 pi sigma r square. This is equation 3. So these are the net charges given, and therefore using 1, 2, 3, Q1 as to Q2 as to Q3 is equal to 4 pi sigma r square as to 12 pi sigma r square as to 20 pi sigma r square. So pi sigma r square cancel. So 4 s to 12 s to 20, and therefore this is equal to 1 s to 3 s to 5. So the correct ratio is this much: 1 s to 2 s 1 s to 3 s to 5, and therefore the correct choice is given as B choice is correct. B is correct. So surface charge density are same for all the three surfaces, but the radius is different. Therefore, total surface area is also different, and therefore the charges are like this. Q2 will be the highest charge. It is 5 times Q1. Q2 is in between, like this. So the problem is somewhat of. So see the situation. There are three concentric spherical shell. This is the first shell of radius r1. The charge net charge is given q1. This is the second spherical shell of radius r2 is equal to 2r. The net charge is given q2, and this is the third spherical shell. They are concentric shell. So sigma is the surface charge density. It is same for all the three sphere, and we have to find the ratio of q1 s to q2 s to q3. So to keep the sigma constant, the charges must be in increasing order, like this. So for the first sphere, for the first spherical shell, we are using this general formula. Charge is equal to surface charge density multiplied by area. This is the basic definition of surface charge density, like this. So for first spherical shell, Q1 is equal to sigma 1 multiplied by 4 pi r1 square, but sigma 1 is equal to sigma and r1 is equal to r, like this. And therefore we get this charge. So charge given to the first sphere is this. So this is the charge given. Therefore by induction, minus q1 charge is induced on inner surface, minus q1 charge is induced on inner surface of spherical shell number 2 and 3, like this. तर ह्या आउटर शेलवर दोन प्रकारचे चार्जेस इंड्यूस होतील, मायनस Q1 मायनस Q2, like this. So this equation is important. Charge on outer surface minus charge induced. The induced charge is opposite polarity, therefore we have taken the minus sign. इथे प्लस साईन आपण घेतलेले, पण ब्रॅकेटमध्ये मायनस घेतलेला, शेवटी तो मायनस होतो, म्हणून ह्या पुढच्या इक्वेशनमध्ये मी डायरेक्ट मायनस साईन घेतलेलं आहे. सो Q1 Q2 Q3 आर इन द रेशो 1:3:5. जरा वेगळ्या टाईपचा प्रॉब्लेम आहे. इंड्यूस चार्जेसचं मिनिंग महत्त्वाचं आहे ते, अदरवाईज आन्सर्स रॉंग येतात. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन नंबर 29. What about the Gaussian theorem is not correct? A. It can be derived by using the Coulomb's law. It is valid for conservative field and obeys the inverse square root law. Gauss theorem is not applicable in gravitation. And D. Both A and B are correct. तर A आणि B दोघी रॉंगच येते, पण ते रॉंग काय त्याचं कारण आपल्याला माहिती पाहिजे. सो Gaussian theorem is derived, not derived by Coulomb's law, but Coulomb's law is derived by Gauss's law. A choice. A is wrong because Coulomb's law is derived from Gauss's law. Gauss's law, like this. Therefore, A is wrong. Now B. B is wrong because it obeys inverse square law. and not inverse square root law. So this is wrong. Gauss's law is applicable for conservative field. Like magnetic field, electric field, C is correct. C is correct because even gravitational field is a conservative field, but there is no gravitational field lines, therefore no gravitational field flux is possible. Therefore C is correct. The electric lines of forces are only in electric field, magnetic field. Lines of forces are only in electric field and magnetic field. In gravitational field, there are no such concept of field lines, and therefore C is only the correct. It is not applicable for the gravitational field. So gravitational field is not Gauss law. Gauss's law is not applicable for gravitational field. Therefore, C choice is correct, like this. So all these three fields are conservative field. So remember the statement, we can derive the Coulomb's law from Gauss's law. Gauss law cannot be derived from Coulomb's law, like this. Therefore A is wrong. B is wrong. Why? Because this Coulomb's law is inverse square law. It is not an inverse square root law, like this. So Gauss's law is applicable for conservative field like magnetic field and electric field. B स्टेटमेंटचा फर्स्ट हाफ पार्ट करेक्ट आहे, सेकंड हाफ पार्ट रॉंग आहे, म्हणून तो आपण रॉंग घेतलेला आहे. लक्षात. So gravitational field is also conservative field, but there is no concept of field lines in gravitational field, and therefore this C statement is wrong. Gauss law is not applicable for the gravitational field, like this. Okay, we'll stop here. Why this A and B statement are wrong, that can be proven mathematically like this. This is Gauss law. Electric flux phi is equal to total charge enclosed by the surface upon permittivity of the medium Q upon epsilon naught. Phi is also given by E dot A, scalar product of electric intensity and area vector. So now if the charge Q is kept here, then it will produce the electric field intensity E. It is directed normally away along the radius. This, if we consider a small area ds, then area vector ds is in the direction. So E and ds are in the same direction. Therefore E and ds are parallel to each other, and hence this theta is equal to 0 degree. Here we are keeping the plus q chart. So theta is equal to 0 degree. This area is equal to 4 pi r square area, and intensity is given by E is equal to q upon 4 pi epsilon naught r square. So 4 pi cancel, r square cancel, cos of 0 is equal to 1, therefore pi is equal to 1. So this is nothing but inverse square law, like this. So we can derive the expression for the electrical intensity, and intensity is inversely proportional to r square, like this. Okay, we will stop here. We will see remaining question next time.